So it's a very good partnership.
Yeah. And there's a lot of stuff like that. And the great thing is, as small business entrepreneurs, which is who most of our audience is, these are the smaller mom and pops. Some of them are home-based businesses, coaches, consultants. The smaller guys that don't have a big corporation. A lot of times they're thinking in that scarcity mindset, and they're afraid to go to work with their competition per se. What is the first thing that you would say to those guys? What would you say is like, okay, this is how to get over that fear?
Okay, well, the scarcity mindset is something that needs to become scarce. I'm a believer in the abundance mindset. There's enough to go around. There are kinks in the distribution. We're sitting here. You can see the back wall of my office there. My office is in a farmhouse built in 1743. I think we solarized it in 2001 with a hot water system. In 2004, we added a small photovoltaic electrical system. I think it might be the oldest solar house in the country. It's located on a beautiful working dairy farm. My neighbors have 400 cows. Behind the farm is a mountain with a state park. And this house kind of embodies to me the abundance mentality, because here I am paying taxes on 3/4 of an acre, and I've got this, not only do I have this 400-acre farm that I live on, but immediately adjoining it, and there are places where there are no fence, is 8,000 acres of state park that I get to play in. So by thinking about abundance rather than prosperity, thinking about how the world can open itself up to you to answer your dreams, I have this incredible paradise to live in. It's just like, I wrote a book years ago on how to have fun cheaply, because money is not an end. Anybody who thinks that money is the goal is really not thinking clearly, because all money is a means of acquiring whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's changing the world or getting a better couch. Right. And money is one among many tools. So, for example, I do a lot of traveling, and most of the time when I travel, I stay in people's houses through one of the 2 homestay networks I'm part of. Costs me nothing.
Right.
And I have a better visit because I'm staying with people who are local and who are able to show me around or tell me where the best things to go and tell me what the really sleazy stuff that maybe I've heard about for years but wouldn't actually enjoy. Tell me to avoid that. We have meals together. We make friends. I still have some people on my email list that I stayed, like this guy in Athens, Greece. I stayed with him in 2000. He's still on my email list. We send each other jokes every once in a while, a little personal correspondence. So we're building relationships. So obviously that is a way of creating abundance in my life, that I'm not paying $200 a night for a hotel room. But beyond that, I'm building a lifelong relationship with somebody because I stayed in their house or they stayed in mine. So it's a different way of thinking. It's a different mindset. And I find that in pretty much every aspect of my life, I can look at this and I can see that my life is abundant and full of blessings. And I wake up every morning and I express a mental gratitude for that.
Very cool. And that's one of the things too. It's all about looking at the big picture of what really is important and where your relationships are going with everything. That's a big piece of it.
One more thing about the whole concept of market share is it works with abundance, because you mentioned that people are scared of their competitors pushing them down. Most of your audiences, you said, are consultants and authors and people who are in an expandable market. If you look at my bookshelf, you'll see probably 200 books on marketing.
Mm-hmm. Same
okay?
Here.
When, admittedly, if I buy a car or a house, I'm not likely to buy another car or house for a long time. But if I buy a book on marketing, it just means that there'll be another marketing book on my bookshelf soon, and maybe I'll have to eventually clear out a few boxes to make room. But books are swallowing me here. But
I know the feeling. I have the same way.
If you sell any kind of information product, you're in an expansive market. And if you're selling consulting services, if you're selling your time by the hour, as I still do, even though the advice is usually to convert to information products and passive income streams, I actually like the consulting. I like helping people think about their marketing in a new and different way. I like helping people create a book, and a well-published book that is as good as anything that comes out of New York. I enjoy that stuff, so I give it up. So, if I, as a consultant, could serve 0.00001% of the market, I'd be working 15 hours a day and be very unhappy. that market is way too big for scarcity to even be a factor.
Right.
There's plenty of work to go around. It's just a matter of finding who the people are that are a good fit for me and where I find them and how to work with them. And anybody who's in any kind of consulting business has that same issue. Your issue is, unless you've got some really arcane specialty, like you consult on some very obscure and arcane manufacturing technology where there are only 4 companies in the world that need it, you have a world that's full of prospects. And I do say world. Here I am working from my farmhouse in Massachusetts. I've had 3 clients in Japan, 1 in Cyprus, probably a dozen in various parts of Europe. I have a client for my monthly column, Green and Profitable, all the way in Australia, and another one in Malaysia. Mm-hmm. I'm running an international business sitting here in my 200-year-old farmhouse.
Right. Well, and that's the cool thing about all of this, too. I mean, if you really think about it, we're talking about the collaborative mindset. I mean, think about it. You're a marketing strategist. That's what I am, too. And a lot of people would go, well, why are you going to be working with him and talking about all of his cool stuff when he's your competitor? Well, no, you're not my competitor. We both serve the same type of purpose, but you have a specialty in, being in the green world that, to be perfectly honest, if I have somebody who fits that bill, I'm much more likely to send them over to you because that is your specialty.
Yeah, and similarly, if I know what your specialty is and I get somebody looking for it and it's not right for me, then I know who to send them to.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about. It's figuring out where your niche is, where your specialty is, and where you shine, and attracting those customers and putting the other ones out to wherever they're a good fit. And that's what that whole collaborative mindset's about.
Mm-hmm. And, you see this very clearly in the internet marketing world. All of these people are promoting each other all the time. Mm-hmm. If you're on a call with Steve Harrison, you'll hear about Brendan Burchard. And if you're on a call with Brendan Burchard, you'll hear about Frank Kern, and on it goes. They all promote each other, and they all benefit from that. And when we did the launch for Guerrilla Marketing Goes Green, I reached into some of those relationships I built. And, I said in the book proposal to Wiley, I said, I think I can reach 5 million people during the launch. And that is what some people call a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal. Mm-hmm. And I really had no basis on past performance to make a claim like that. But I had done the numbers and kind of added up the number of newsletter editors and bloggers that I had built a relationship with over time. And it's a long list. And I kind of made guesses as to how much circulation they had. And not all of those people participated in the launch. Probably only 1 in 15, 1 in 20 actually signed up and helped. But 3 weeks after the launch, I did a Google search for, quote, Guerrilla Marketing Goes Green, unquote. Those 4 words, exact match, 1,070,000 hits. 1 million hits on Google for my book title.
Nice.
And if you knock off 70,000 for maybe those are the sloggers, the scrapers, the people that nobody ever goes to their websites. If I average only 5 people for the 1 million real websites, I made the 5 million goal.
Right.
Next time around, I need to set myself a sales goal as well as just an eyeballs goal. Did not sell nearly as many books for reaching 5 million people as I thought, but I think I did reach 5 million people.
Right. Very cool. All right. So with that, you're talking about, 5 million people that you're reaching. A lot of our audience, again, they're small business owners. These are guys that are just starting out. So if somebody is just starting out in this and they want to do something green from their marketing efforts, but they don't know where to begin, what are some of the things that they can do to get started right away?
Well, I would say, first of all, look at the things you're doing and figure out what you're doing that's already green or that could easily become green, and start talking about it. Design your packaging so that you're bringing attention to this. Talk about the reasons. Talk about the impact on the local community, and not only your own local community, but if you're sourcing from Africa or South America or whatever, talk about the impact of what you're doing on those communities, of having a fairly traded commodity that pays a decent wage, having a cooperative style of organization in your coffee village or whatever. A company called Dean's Beans here in Massachusetts is very, very good at this. Peace Coffee is another one. Even Starbucks tries to tell a sustainability story, but they are a little bit funkier in that only a fairly small percentage of their coffee is actually fair trade and organic. But, there are a number of companies out there that all of their coffee is fair trade and organic, and they are telling the green story, and as a result, they are growing. Since we're on food, there are 2 super premium ice cream companies that control roughly 85% of the U.S. super premium ice cream market. Can you guess who they are?
Ben and Jerry's would be one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the other one would be. I'm not a big ice cream guy.
Okay. Interestingly enough, you mentioned the smaller one first. The bigger one is Haagen-Dazs.
Oh, okay.
Now, Ben and Jerry's, started by two hippies in Vermont in a garage, no business experience, no... How are they the second largest seller of super premium ice cream in the country? And really right behind the market leader. I would submit that it's because they've been telling a sustainability story right from the beginning. You see them at solar festivals. You go on their website. It's all about fair trade and organic and healthy and back to the land. And they're very consistent in telling that story. And because of that, and because they were kind of anti-corporate corporation, even though they're now owned by a big corporation, they were able to attract the maverick environmentalist market in a way that Haagen-Dazs can't ever go there.
Right.
And I would say that that is why they're so successful.
Very cool.
And this,
and
you know,
that's one of the
companies.
What was that?
The super premium ice cream market in the United States has hundreds of companies. Only two of them have any traction.
Right. Very cool. Well, and that's one of the things that with those guys, the story that they tell behind their, it's not about the ice cream per se. Ice cream is ice cream, and yes, there are, different flavors, and some of it is a little bit better than others, but the story behind it is what really gets them going. Exactly.
I'm a big believer in what I call the story behind the story, and there are some marketers out there who really understand. The guy in Canada named Troy White, who's very, very good at this. I love reading his stuff because it's all stories. Jay is very good at this. Mm-hmm. Jay loves to tell stories and by example, demonstrate a marketing principle.
Yeah, very cool. Awesome. All right, so with that, how can, first off, you've got a bunch of books out there. You've got 8 different books, but let's start with just the Guerrilla Marketing Goes Green. How can people get a hold of that book?
The easiest way is to go to greenandprofitable.com, and that way you don't have to spell gorilla, which is hard to spell. And over there you'll see a link to the book, and on that will take you to guerrillamarketinggoesgreen.com. And if you really want to go there first, it's Guerrilla marketing. But it's easier to remember green and profitable, and is spelled out. And incidentally, whether you buy the book from me, from Amazon, from your local bookseller, or from anywhere, go back to that website and register for the $2,000 worth of bonuses that come with this $21.95 book. And that's the easiest way. That same website, greenandprofitable.com, has information on my speaking, my consulting, and, of course, my monthly column, Green and Profitable, that runs on 3 continents.
Very cool. Lots of fun stuff. All right, so any last tips, tricks, thoughts, or ideas that you want to share with any of our audience?
I think the basic thing that I'd like to get across is that with a little bit of creativity, all of this stuff is doable. It doesn't have to cost much. There are people like me and many other people who can help you walk through this journey. But the main thing is to really... Just because somebody has always thought about something a certain way doesn't mean that's the only way to think about it. There's a lot of room for creativity, and there's a lot of room for experimentation, and there's a lot of room for doing what has been shown to work, but doing it perhaps in a slightly different way.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Shel. Really appreciate it, and we'll put all the links and everything on the show notes with this. Guys, get out there. Go get the book. To be perfectly honest, Shel and I just talked last week, so I haven't even got it yet, so it's on my Amazon list. We're getting ready to get it. So,
well, maybe when you've read it, we'll have a chance to go over it again. You can talk about some of the insights you learned from the book.
Oh, I definitely will. We'll definitely do that. We'll definitely look at having you come back again once I've read the book, and we can actually go through a couple of the big takeaways that I got specifically out of it. So thanks a lot, Shel. Really appreciate it. And as always, let me know if there's anything I can do for you as well. Hey there, this is Eli again, and I got a question for you. Do you have a roadmap for marketing your business? If you're consistently looking for new marketing ideas just to keep your business going, then you need to check out smallbusinessmarketingroadmap.com and download the free special report that I created to help you create a marketing plan that will thrive in any economy. Again, that's smallbusinessmarketingroadmap.com. Go get it, read it, and start the road trip of your lifetime. See you on the other side.